Why would a world leader travel over 7 hours for a meeting that lasted only 3? On January 18th, UAE President MBZ made a surprise visit to New Delhi that signaled a massive geopolitical shift. This wasn't just a courtesy call, it was a high-stakes strategic pivot. Today, we decode the drivers behind this rapid diplomatic maneuver. The logistics of this visit were highly unusual. Despite a 7-hour flight each way, President MBZ spent just 3 hours on the ground. The visit was announced only a day before travel, a rare departure from standard protocol for heads of state. In a personal touch, Prime Minister Modi bypassed usual formalities to receive the president directly at the airport tarmac. They even shared a vehicle, exchanging gifts like a traditional wooden jula and a pashmina shawl. Those 3 hours were packed with strategic wins. The leaders signed a game-changer letter of intent for a strategic defense agreement. They also finalized a vital long-term LNG supply deal to secure India's energy future. Finally, new agreements were reached to jointly produce satellites and establish launch sites, moving the partnership into the final frontier, space. This new defense framework isn't just on paper, it paves the way for joint military drills and intelligence sharing. Both nations issued an unequivocal condemnation of cross-border terrorism, signaling a unified front against regional instability. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs described these deepening ties not as a reaction to events, but as a natural evolution of their relationship. To understand why this happened so fast, we have to look at the geopolitical iceberg. 4 major regional shifts are driving the UAE's pivot toward India: a growing rift with Saudi Arabia, exclusion from emerging regional blocs, the looming threat of conflict with Iran, and a new plan for post-conflict alignment in Gaza. The first major factor is a public and intense fallout between the UAE and Saudi Arabia over rival factions in southern Yemen. Relations escalated to the point where Riyadh openly accused the UAE of undermining national interests. With most Gulf states siding with Saudi Arabia, the UAE has found itself in a state of growing political vulnerability. Second is the emergence of what some call an Islamic NATO. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed a mutual defense treaty that resembles NATO's Article 5, where an attack on one is an attack on both. With Turkey expressing interest in joining, this military bloc is encircling the region, leaving the UAE conspicuously excluded from the new security architecture. The third driver is the rising probability of conflict between the US and Iran. While neighbors like Saudi Arabia, Oman, and Qatar have actively lobbied the US to avoid war, the UAE was notably absent from these specific lobbying reports. This suggests the UAE may lack the same security assurances as its neighbors, forcing it to look for partners beyond the traditional US umbrella. Finally, there is the Gaza peace plan. Donald Trump has reportedly invited both the UAE minister and PM Modi to participate in the Gaza board for post-conflict administration. This shared responsibility in West Asian stability provides an immediate and urgent context for both leaders to align their strategic agendas. Ultimately, the UAE sees India as the perfect hedge. As West Asian nations diversify their partnerships, India stands out as a stable, non-aligned economic and security anchor. While New Delhi avoids entanglement in regional rifts like the Saudi-UAE fallout, it is more than willing to strengthen bilateral ties that secure the future for both nations. This visit was a strategic necessity, not just a courtesy. Driven by regional isolation and looming threats, the UAE is locking in long-term cooperation in defense, energy, and space. In a fragmenting world, the UAE is securing its future by pivoting to New Delhi.